Okay, guys, this is Fight Commentary Breakdowns. I have here a guest, a viewer, an awesome boxer from Texas. He goes by Buzz Miles online. So, what's up, Buzz Miles?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. You're in Texas. How is Texas currently under this crazy situation?
Well, specifically for my city, I've heard other cities like this too, but there's hardly any groceries. They put restrictions on going out, buy like what you can buy. It's crazy here, but
Wow,
trying to make
that's
it.
yeah, exactly. Now, you're a boxer. Tell me about your journey. Did you discover martial arts when you were young, or was it kind of later on in your life?
Yeah, early on, I was all about Taekwondo. Like before I started weight training or anything, it was all Taekwondo because I wanted to be like the main thing I wanted to do was be able to fight people like only with my legs, like with my hands behind my back and everything. But
Uh,
I did that for a while. I wasn't very good at it, and then I stopped completely for a little bit, and then I got into powerlifting, and that's what I'm still doing right now. But
mhm.
a while after that, my friends came up to me in class, and they were like, "We should have a sparring tournament." I'm like, all right. What kind of sparring?" They're boxing. So they said boxing, so I got in my room. I started training. I looked into boxing, and then I got really into it, like more than just a tournament. I got into like the sport itself. I researched
Mhm.
the sport. I knew a whole bunch of boxers, and yeah, so we had the first tournament last year. I didn't do too good at all because I didn't know anything about boxing, but yeah, we came back the next year or this year and we did it again. I did a little bit better than last time, but yeah, my head movement wasn't great, but I did the best I could because I'm entirely self taught pretty much.
Mhm.
So what I usually do is I find like tutorials on YouTube. I find like certain like your channel. I find what people do, what works best, and I go to like other technique channels and I go on the heavy bag. I go on the heavy bag for a while. I use resistance bands to get in the rhythm of the punches and everything. I can sometimes tie things up to the ceiling so I could use it for head movement, stuff like that, stuff like that.
Mhm. Are you a big fan of jump roping?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love jump roping. Yeah.
Yeah. It's. See, I used to do cross country when I was in high school, so I always thought my endurance, my cardiovascular system was good
Yeah.
until you start jump roping, and then you're like,
Exactly.
oh man, I don't know how I got through track or cross country. This is a completely different way of doing your heart and your muscular endurance.
Exactly. And the first time I jumped rope, I remember that my calves the next day they were done for.
Oh
I
my
could
God.
not walk.
Yeah, especially certain variations of the jump roping. Like, there's like standard, but then there's one, it's like a big coordination thing that I still suck at, where like one of your feet goes forward, the other goes back, and then you switch them as you jump rope. That thing,
Exactly.
because I'm so busy trying to get the movement, I'm so tense down there, and that thing will kill your calves.
Exactly, man. It's rough,
Wow.
but I like doing it. I like doing it.
So, my question then is, you did many years of Taekwondo. Did you feel like that helped, or did that hinder your boxing, or kind of give and take?
I never really thought of the two as related, but I would
Mhm.
say it would help. It helped mostly in just moving, I would say,
Mhm.
and keeping my balance. But except for that, I wouldn't say it really helped much. But the range in Taekwondo is different from boxing. I noticed that for sure.
Mhm.
That's what I noticed the most.
I
The
see.
differences.
The footwork and everything, I bet it's different than boxing. Did you have a hard time kind of transitioning, learning the boxing footwork because you kept reverting back to your Taekwondo footwork?
Yeah. And boxing, my footwork's still not great. I'm really new to the sport. I've been doing it for 2 years, but not as much as I would say like a boxer would. Like not like an hour or two in the gym boxing every day. I would say maybe 30 minutes to an hour, uh, 4 times a week maybe.
Hmm.
And but I mean the footwork was different for sure because in Taekwondo, yeah, it's different. So in boxing, I first learned the orthodox stance, and like I should because I'm right-handed. But then last year I decided to switch it, and since then it's worked out better for me. So I just keep it southpaw from now on.
Nice, nice. Um, so, what type of Taekwondo did you do back in the day?
I'm not really sure of the specifics of like what's it called. I went to this gym. It wasn't far from my home. It was a little bit away,
I
and
see.
it was like down the street. I went there for not that long. I would say around maybe 3 years I tried Taekwondo, and then like in a year just on my own. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's it.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, the thing about martial arts like Taekwondo is like if you do it for 3 years, you could totally get a black belt, right? That's the interesting thing about traditional martial arts
Yeah.
like that. So I had a friend, I think he did Taekwondo for maybe 5 years, and he was so close to getting a black belt. I mean, he was good, but
Yeah.
you tell someone who does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to get a black belt in 5 years, they'll be like, what? No, no way.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm actually thinking about doing jujitsu just because like it's good for fighting in general. Like in actual fighting, that might be useful, like in wrestling and stuff.
Yeah. And I
But
think with boxing, you got all the great muscle groups already, so you're less at risk for becoming imbalanced because in jiu-jitsu, the way they're holding themselves on the ground and stuff, it's very easy to make your body imbalanced. So a lot of jiu-jitsu guys have to do all these other exercises outside of the gym to kind of
yeah,
rebalance, especially their back muscles. And so it's like because boxing, you're like boxing is one of the best like upper back workouts, and it's just
yeah,
so good for your back muscles like in a way that jiu-jitsu doesn't do as well. So I think with the boxing and jiu-jitsu you're going to be perfectly balanced because well, boxing
yeah.
is going to make the back, and then jiu-jitsu is going to make you like all this, and
Yeah.
you're going to be normal.
And what's it called? I do powerlifting training 6 times a week as
There you
well.
go.
And I noticed even like when I took a break from boxing between last year and this year, when I got back into it, my back and biceps and shoulders, they were super sore after workouts,
Yeah.
man. Like even
Yeah.
with all the other training I've done, boxing is still one of the best, I would say.
Wow. So what got you into powerlifting? That sounds like a really cool kind of hobby, or maybe it's something more for you.
Yeah, that's it's been a while. So
Hmm.
I first started so I used to swim as well because my parents put me in swimming
Hmm.
just have the skill.
Hmm.
And there's a weight room there. It's all old and rusty. So I started going in there just to get in shape because I was young. I wanted abs just like everybody else does, you know. So I got in the weight room. I would be lifting maybe twice a week, then I would up it like a few days. So eventually I got to 6 days a week, which I do now, and I got more into it. I looked into technique and everything, and I really got into the specifics of how to build muscle, how to do this and that. And eventually my parents saw that I got into it, and they were like, why don't you try out powerlifting? And I was like, I guess I'll go to the gym, see what's up. And everybody there, well, the first time I came, everybody there was crazy strong. And among my friend group, I was like the strongest one there. So I'd never seen people this strong before. It was crazy. So I was like, I got to do this. I got to get this strong. And yeah, yeah. So since then, I've taken home a gold medal. And if all goes well, I'll be competing in Raw Nationals next year.
Dude, that's awesome. Tell me about sort of how powerlifting is, let's say, different from regular lifting. What are some things you have to take into account? What are some things that, maybe some certain training mechanisms that are different from regular people who are, let's say, training their muscle groups, etc.
Yeah, it's very different from bodybuilding. You'll see some really small guys put up some really big weight. And because in bodybuilding it's a lot of well, there's a lot of ways to bodybuild, but one of the main ways like volume training, where they do like a whole bunch of volume with a lighter weight, but that's not really how it works for powerlifting. Usually you'll see really big guys go in there and do maybe like 3 to 5 reps, not a lot, but it works for them. And in meets as well, that's completely different from normal training because you have to peak for the meet. So you'll have a certain schedule you'll go by for weeks and weeks, and then you have a deload right before the meet, and then you get in there and you lift as much weight as possible. But that would be useless for a normal person. They wouldn't go through all those weeks just to lift good on one day if they're not competing, you know. So
That's
yeah.
so interesting. I've never thought about it, but it's like the progression of powerlifters. Like you're kind of like this, and you want to be at the top during your competition, and then you can maybe relax a little, let your body recover after the competition. Whereas, if someone's building real muscle for like functionality or whatever, they want to be like, okay, every time I lift, I want to get even better, 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 better.
Exactly,
That's
exactly.
so interesting. Wow. Do you find the powerlifting has helped your boxing at all, or anything like that?
I mean, I would say so because I'm obviously not the best at technique. Like if you can see the videos, like I'm working on the technique. That's like what I focus on mainly when I practice for boxing. But what's it called? For like the coaches that I've worked with, I've only worked with two coaches when I went to the boxing gyms for the sparring, and both times they've complimented my punching power, which I would say comes from powerlifting. So that helps me. That helps me out a lot. I think without that kind of power, I wouldn't do too good yet. I don't think I have
Mm,
enough technique to do that great yet.
makes sense. Wow, that's so cool. So ultimately, I guess this is a question for the future. Do you think you're gonna keep up both the powerlifting and the boxing, or do you think eventually you're gonna have to pick one of the two?
Yeah, that's been a problem. That's been a thing I've been thinking about recently,
Hmm.
actually, a lot. Because I also want to get into wrestling, so I'm thinking about like what kind of sport do I really want to do? Because in powerlifting there's not a lot of money, but that's what I've done the best in so far. And
Mm-hmm.
in boxing there's a ton of money, but it'll be like a harder journey. And
Yes.
wrestling just seems fun, honestly. So
Yeah.
I really have to decide between the sports. I think the max I could do at the same time is two of them. So
Hmm.
I think right now what I'll do is just powerlifting and boxing, but I'll have to see. Eventually, I'm sure I'll have to choose between one or the other. But right now, I'm really not sure. I've been thinking about it a lot, but
Yeah, yeah. And it's good that you're thinking about it because when I was younger, I'd be the kid who'd do a million things. I was just like, I would never, and part of it I think was not completely my fault. It's just how I was growing up. My parents would put me into too much stuff too. So
yeah,
like I always had that habit of I just want to try everything. And then ultimately you kind of get frustrated at everything because you didn't
yeah,
focus on one thing. So I think it's good that you're thinking about it because then you're going to get good at something. And then you get good at it, you can decide, do I want to keep going or do I want to try new things while I have this thing that I can fall back on that I'm really good at. So yeah, I like that.
exactly. Thank you.
Wow. So, with the current apocalypse, do you ever have like visions of your mind of like, what if, I'm out getting my groceries in an emergency shopping and someone attacks me? Does that cross your mind at all?
I mean, it has. Like the other day, we had some groceries in the back of our car, and we had to go to another grocery store because the one we went to originally didn't have what we were looking for.
Hmm.
So I was thinking about like, would somebody really break into my car to take these groceries?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about like, what should I block the window off, or I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I've been thinking about occurring in my mind more too. Like I sometimes when I'm walking outside, or let's say I'm going to the store, now I'm thinking about it. It's like, oh my God, what if like society just goes crazy? You need to defend yourself. How you apply the boxing? If let's say multiple people come at you and you can't run, like how would you apply the boxing footwork? Like these are things I never thought
Yeah.
about, but now it's like I'm thinking about it. Like I was inside right now in Santa Monica, they have something called shelter in place. So if you do go outside to a restaurant, you can only order takeout. You have to keep 6 feet away from everyone. So like suddenly I'm in this restaurant that's now converted into like a grab and go place,
Yeah.
and I'm suddenly looking at it without people. It's the first time you look at a terrain, like an inside terrain without people, and suddenly it occurs to me, oh, what if like random people come attack me? What do I do? It's like the weirdest thing that like situations
Exactly.
like this get you to think.
Yep. Yeah. This is honestly a really strange situation. I
Yeah.
wonder how it's gonna end. Because I mean, the disease isn't just gonna disappear on its own. So like we'll either be quarantined until they find like a cure and give it to everybody,
Yeah.
or we'll just be. I mean, we'll just be here, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's interesting and it's affected everyone's training. I know before we started recording, you talked about how you still have like online classes, which is awesome.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just got off of them like an hour ago.
Wow. That's awesome. My boxing gym said they were gonna send workouts, but I never got a text, so I don't know what's going on. So now I'm
Yeah.
just kind of like, and my roommate, he does Muay Thai Jiu-Jitsu. I kind of just work out a little bit with him, but it's just like I paid for these classes, right? And like I see a lot of BJJ gyms too, where we're telling people like, please just don't cancel your membership. If you cancel
Yep.
your membership, there's gonna be no school after you come back because they're gonna go broke.
Yeah, I've
It's
heard about that. My
it's
powerlifting gym, what's it called? They gave away, they well, not gave away, they let the members borrow all their equipment. So like if you go there right now, it's completely empty. So
wow,
they let people take it home as like part of their home gym.
that
And I don't
is
have anything.
awesome.
It is. It
Dude,
is.
that's a gym that knows how to keep their customers.
Yep. Yep.
Wow. So, anyone that runs a gym watching this, consider that. If you don't just be like, "Yo, please have pity, keep your membership," give them something, right? Like
Yep.
that's really great what they did because it's good that everyone should support their gym, but everyone's struggling too. A lot of people are getting unemployed. It's not just the gym owners. So it's like they have to also think about that. How do you have equipment in your school? Maybe give a little, like even just a little resistance bands or something. Give them to people. Like give them something to remember you to like to show that you care about them too.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy, man. So, okay, if all of this, let's say, ends in 3 months, I guess you're gonna go train again. When would be hypothetically the next tournament you would compete in?
Well, me and my friends were planning on sometime this summer, but that's if
Mhm.
it opens up at the right
Yeah.
time. So I would say somewhere around June maybe. That's if everything is
Yeah,
going.
that's an if, big if.
So I would 1 to 2 months, 1 to 2 months.
1 or 2 months makes sense. Do you so these tournaments are basically boxing, right? There's no like cross martial arts
No,
kind of
no,
like
nothing like that.
okay.
It's
Yeah,
it's
because
yeah, it's at a
I
boxing
know
gym.
there's some really good kung fu in Texas too. I don't know where in Texas, maybe in San Antonio, but there is some good kung fu. So that would be something for me to look at in the future. Like these like cool tournaments where I know there are tournaments where like kung fu guys will go and like fight boxers and stuff. I know this happens in Texas, so I'll have to do more research, figure out where it is.
Yeah, for sure. Because I see a lot of kung fu plays. I just haven't gotten involved with that in a while. Because I mean, right now, the main martial art I want to focus on is either boxing or wrestling. But right now, it's just boxing because wrestling isn't up or anything, and I've never really tried it either. But
Yeah.
San Antonio has a lot of boxing gyms, that's for sure. Because it's there's a lot of boxing gyms.
Exactly, exactly. Wow. Is Texas the place you want to be in for the rest of your life? Do you think you might want to explore other places in this country or maybe this world?
Yeah, for sure. What's it called? Yeah. I used to want to live in New York. I don't know if I want to live there anymore, but I definitely want to visit there pretty often. It seems like a cool place. And Washington is nice as well, but there's a lot of places in Germany. My family came from a place in Europe, Greece. They came from Greece. So I think I might want to live there. I'm not really sure. Maybe like once I'm older, once I finish my job and everything here, I'll might head over there. But
Yeah.
also,
Well, if you go to Greece, viewer Damien Process there, he's the Wing Chun guy.
yeah,
You guys could spar. That'd be really cool.
that would be
Yeah, if
that
you do go to Greece, that'd be really cool. You and Damien could like do a video together and be like, "Hey, look, we're building stuff here."
would be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly.
There's I also wanted to visit China, but like I'm not really sure.
Yeah, especially now with all the
Oh yeah,
craziness and
especially now. But I mean, I just mean in general. Like
yeah, in general, yeah, it great place, lots of great culture, great
yeah,
people. It's just, unfortunately with its government and stuff like that, we
exactly.
all know about that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even know when I'm going to visit China next, but I always think about what if like one day I'm in China and let's say I'm just like shadow boxing, just practicing in the park and like some crazy like Tai Chi guy. Like your stuff is stupid. Like I can just imagine a situation like this, seeing all how many crazy videos we found from
That
China.
that'd make a
Man.
good
And then
video though.
like thinking about how I would deal with that. Would I engage? Because I'm visiting. I don't want to
Yeah.
like get myself in trouble. But then it's like he's also. I want to tell people not like don't follow him if he's going to go around challenging people. So I don't know. I've thought about that sometimes.
Mhm.
But yeah, I need to come visit Texas too. I've never been to Texas
You
ever. So
should.
I think a lot of LA people were trying to come to South by Southwest.
Yeah.
So that's like the one time that LA people do go to Texas.
Uh-huh.
But unfortunately, South by Southwest got canceled. And probably now, looking back, it was the right decision. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, wow. But maybe next year, if this thing is all good, when I visit, come to South by Southwest, I'll go do a Texas journey, visit all the viewers, visit all the cool people.
All right, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Exactly. Well, dude, guys, we have Buzz Miles here. Do you guys have, do you Buzz have anything else to say? Any last things to add?
No, not really. Thank you for having me. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
definitely, guys. I will put his Instagram, and then I will also, if you guys have any questions, you guys can put it down there in the comment section and everything. And if you do reach out to him on Instagram, please consider this is a fight commentary family. So don't be mean. I can't stop you, but please, just because we're a good family, we're trying to build something here. Just be nice, talk to him normally, or if you're not a normal person, just talk to him the normal way you would talk to someone, not extra mean.
I'll accept advice. I'll accept advice.
Yeah.
Constructive criticism.
Exactly, exactly. Cool. So I'll stop recording now, but we can talk a little bit more after this. But for everyone watching, this was Fight Commentary Breakdowns. Go follow Buzz Miles.